Is this a case of finding a company with a large user base and then buying it on the cheap after the market punishes it?
Well, I think they're getting a number of things. I mean, they've got, Zulily knows their market well. They've got that mother base, right, of 25 to, say, 35 to 40 range that's very committed and really enjoys that site. So that brand is really strong. So they're picking up a really strong brand. They're also picking up a strong leadership team with experience with Blue Nile and Red Envelope. So I think this is a smart move with QVC to expand. And from a Zulily perspective, hopefully this will expand some of their sales where they've struggled.
Alex, why has the stock gotten punished? I mean, the chart looks horrendous. What has Zulily done wrong?
We've seen it with a lot of these internet companies. As soon as you start to see sales growth slow down, there's sometimes a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. There's a story out on Bloomberg in the last 10 minutes. Paul Sweeney, analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence, says that, this is potentially a lifeline for shareholders because for these internet companies, we've seen it with Zulily, we've seen it with the likes of Groupon, eBay last earnings day. As soon as that top line kind of starts to contract for these companies who don't make a lot on the bottom line, shareholders sometimes can head for the hills.
There are some similarities, Alex, between Zulily and Etsy, right? I mean, Etsy shares don't look quite as bad. But are you hearing from shareholders there that they'd like the same kind of lifeline?
Not quite yet. It seems like Etsy, they've been public for almost 2 quarters now, so it seems like they have a little bit of time. They're still preaching this international sales expansion plan. But, turning back to Zulily, they have had that time in the market. They have had the money from the IPO and the opportunity to try to find growth. And while it might be a new sub-segment of customers for QVC, it seems like they've kind of had a slowdown. Sales up only 4% last quarter, which fell off quite a bit from the double-digit sales growth in quarters previous.
All right, so let's touch on that, Shari. I mean, you specialize in integration. How will QVC, or how should QVC integrate Zulily to keep it, a separate and strong brand, but also to kind of try and boost those synergies, as corporate executives love to say?
No, that's definitely important. I think protecting the brand would be one of the first things you'd focus on, right? Really protecting that Zulily brand so you don't lose your current customer base. And then find a way to expand that. I do think there are possible synergies. They are different in the way the back end, kind of their shipping and the way they buy. So not sure how much they can get there, but they definitely can get something maybe in the way they source their products. Very similar, they're going for that unique product going out in the market. So I definitely would focus early on trying to find some of those synergies where it makes sense without eroding the brand or hurting the products, the portfolio.
Alex, we talk about Etsy comes to mind immediately because it's about a $2 billion company. But in general, you mentioned a lot of these tech IPOs follow the same pattern, and you're seeing a lot of these real niche retailers come out in this size. Are we expecting to see a wave of M&A here?
But potentially. We've already seen a little bit of that. When you think of eBay just bought a consignment startup twice. You have Yahoo buying the kind of edgy fashion startup Polyvore. Richemont, who has Cartier and Montblanc, just bought Net-a-Porter. So we're starting to see a bit of this where these newer companies are really owning a certain market and really attracting a certain type of customer. But once they saturate that, that's when they start to struggle with growth. And some of these bigger retail players are also looking for growth in these kind of really committed, loyal customer bases. So potentially more of this going forward. Doesn't mean somebody can't kind of break the mold and turn into the next Amazon. But, right now it's a kind of wait and see process for some of these smaller companies.